Oh, I'm nervous. Hey guys, good early morning to each and every single one of you. Welcome back to the channel United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Hope you're all looking forward to your day. Hope you're all looking forward to your Thursday. Hope you're all looking forward to the end of the week. Hope you're all looking forward to another brand new weekend in April 2024 this year. First of all, and do me a massive favour for me, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button, and remember to put the notification bell on all times to receive dedicated brand new content right throughout the rest of 2024 on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube for more Fortnite, Rocket League, EAFC, Formula 1, more previews, match reactions. We're going to have the summer transfer window covered right throughout Europe, the Premier League, EFL, in the 2024 summer transfer window, and we've got more dedicated branded content planned and surprises for the rest of 2024. It's Emirates FA Cup semi-final day on Saturday and Sunday. Manchester City versus Chelsea and EFL Championship Coventry City play the mighty Manchester United at Wembley Stadium on Sunday afternoon. It is a 3:30 p.m. evening away kickoff for Manchester United, who have got the favourable tie. But there is a massive, massive but. And it says an exclusivity of the title of this live stream. If Manchester United win the FA Cup, does Erik Ten Hag still keep his job? I think it's a massive topic for debate. It's a massive topic if Man United need another manager. And after last weekend's result against Bournemouth, everyone thinks this Coventry City team are a team that are just going to roll over and crumble if United get the early goal and go 1-0 up at Wembley. I think the job Mark Robins has done at Coventry City has been nothing more than remarkable. Obviously, Coventry lost severely in the Championship playoff final last season against Luton Town when they ultimately lost on a penalty shootout, which destroyed Coventry City's chances of getting back into the Premier League. And obviously now, again, the rebuild Mark Robins has done where you lose players like Gyökeres, who is your top striker, who is scoring goals week after week for Coventry in the EFL Championship. And, you know, you look at their comeback against Wolves in the previous rounds at quarterfinals at Molineux. And I think this Coventry City team, again, are showing under a manager that has the complete backing of his players and has a complete system and style of play that the Coventry City players absolutely recognise. It's no surprise at all that Coventry, again, are in an FA Cup semi-final, and again, they are pushing for the playoffs to get up into the Premier League for next season. And again, Man United are in a complete mess here. I don't think the job is good. I don't think the job Erik Ten Hag's done. There's a lot of critics at the moment, and you can see why. Erik Ten Hag is facing a battle, not just to hold on to his job. He's facing a battle to even get this game won, because I think Man United fans are taking this game way too lightly. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think Coventry know that Manchester United are very, very versatile and very, very vulnerable. And I think if we allow the amount of shots that we have faced this season to keep rolling and rolling up the digits, and we let Coventry control this game, then again, I think we can be in for a massive, massive FA Cup shock this weekend. I am friends with some Coventry fans, and massive shout out to all of them. But I think, you know, the job Mark Robins has done to get Coventry City to where they are today, this is only going to springboard them into next season, as well as trying to get into those Championship playoff places, to get into another playoff final, to potentially reach the Premier League once again, where Coventry massively and unluckily missed out last season by losing on penalties. I think this season, again, for Coventry has been a massive, massive success. Mark Robins understands what the city of Coventry wants. The football team is playing some very, very good football. And since they've gone back to the Rico Arena when they had all those problems of the past, Coventry have absolutely transformed, not just with players, but the style of play, the amount of goals they're scoring, and the amount of teams, competitive teams that they are beating in the Championship. I mean, they beat chasing promotion Leeds United only a few games ago, and they're in a very, very strong position again to find themselves in a position where they could cause a major, major FA Cup upset on Sunday afternoon. And the question is, if Manchester United win the FA Cup, does Erik ten Hag still keep his job? I don't think the FA Cup, even winning it, is going to keep his job. We all saw what happened to Louis van Gaal. When Manchester United won the FA Cup, 3 days later, Manchester United sacked Louis van Gaal, even though he won the FA Cup. That is because we missed out on top four, and we ultimately went into that Thursday night banter competition, the UEFA Europa League, and it was a massive, massive L for Manchester United fans, supporters, and even the club itself to be in a lower competitive European competition that Manchester United did not want to find themselves in at all. And again, we are in that position in season 2 under Erik ten Hag, where the players have completely down tools. I think the players have given up. I think there's clear signs that the players know that this manager is not going to be here next season. And I think the players are basically already pre-planning their summer breaks. But when you've got an Olympics coming up, you've got the Euros coming up, these players think that even if a new manager comes in, that they're going to be safe, and that these players think they're going to have a long-term future at Manchester United Football Club. The futures of some of these players have already been decided, no matter the results we've had this season. And I think the last few results where we've gone 4 games without a win, we didn't beat Bournemouth, we didn't beat Brentford, we didn't beat Liverpool, and we didn't beat Chelsea, and we are conceding goals for absolute fun. We've had 3 points from 12 in our last Premier League games, and obviously the FA Cup is a massive, massive distraction for those Manchester United players to get away from their Premier League car crash of a season that has been from minute one. And we deserve to be in the position we're in. We don't deserve any credentials. I've got no sympathy for Manchester United on and off the pitch. We've simply not been good enough, and you've got to tell it how it is. Winning the FA Cup isn't going to do it for me, even though it's 2 trophies in a row under this manager. I think the football has completely fallen apart. We look massively dismantled. We look miles off where we were last season. And the excuses of the injury crisis and the burnout, I'm not falling for that. I think the players know that. They're doing what they did to Mourinho. Second season in, we finished, I think it was second in his second season in charge. And we was classing that as a success in the Premier League. And we didn't win a trophy. And then third season in, the manager bit the bullet, basically. Mourinho was sacked. Manchester United did. And then we brought in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in interim charge. We then gave him the permanent manager's job. We then sacked him because it went horrifically wrong. And I think we are just continuing down that path where we're on the same cycle of sacking a manager every 2 years. I think Erik ten Hag, I look at his body language, I look at his facial expressions, I look at him on the touchline, and he looks completely lost. He looks completely beaten. And I can't understand why this manager, which we had all this hope, all this promise, and a transformation of this football club on and off the pitch. Let's be really honest here. Let's call a spade a spade. This has been a bad managerial appointment. I am fully Erik ten Hag out. And we are getting claims from Manchester United that we need to be patient under the new ownership with Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Sir Dave Brailsford. We've still not got that Jason Wilcox in from Southampton. We still haven't gotten Dan Ashworth from Newcastle. And that Omar Badera, who we bought in from Manchester City, isn't going to be starting till late in the summer transfer window. And the FA Cup is going to come as a distraction off the pitch to focus more on the pitch. But I think the players, I mean, they're going on social media complaining about the tactics, the standards, and the style of football. And I think these players have got no right going on social media, absolutely blasting the fans, blasting the supporters, and absolutely calling out everything like it's perfectly normal to do, where these are professional footballers who are on ridiculous wages and are playing shit football, and they're basically getting away with it, and they think they're God's gift. And it's like that film, Oliver. Please, sir, may I have some more? Please, sir, may I have some more? I can't stand these players. We are relying on the FA Cup to basically call this a bang average season. I mean, that for me is number one, unacceptable. Number two, it's the latter of the performances. These players have fallen off a cliff. And if you can't beat Coventry in the FA Cup, that says a lot. If we can't beat Coventry on Sunday afternoon, Man United season's over anyway, not like it was over already. We are basically fighting to beat Championship Coventry City. And that, again, is the standards of this fucking football club. And I think people are expecting Coventry to roll over and Coventry to absolutely give in to the demand and the pressure that Man United are going to put this Coventry team under. And everyone thinks it's going to be an absolute walk in the park and that Coventry are going to get dismantled quite easily. They're fighting for the playoffs. They're fighting to get back in the Premier League, and they've done it 2 seasons in a row. They've lost Gyökeres to Sporting Lisbon, who is banging goals in for fun, and now all of a sudden we're linked with him. Was brought from Coventry City. Again, the job that Mark Robins has transformed a world-class professional talent in Gyökeres. I'm not surprised what he's doing at Sporting Lisbon. And obviously, as Coventry fans and as Coventry supporters, we're probably fair. If you lose a striker like that and you lose the goals that he was banging in for Coventry, you do worry under Mark Robins where Coventry are going to be able to go without their recognised striker no longer being at the football club. And you can't turn down a quality striker that Gyökeres is. Sporting Lisbon, Champions League football, European football, you can't turn that down. And Gyökeres obviously made the switch to Portugal to go and play for Sporting Lisbon. And again, that is down to the job Mark Robins did with him at Coventry. But the replacements they've brought in have been nothing more than magnificent. And you've got to praise Coventry for what they do. They're a very well-run football club. You've got a good coaching staff there. You've got a good manager. You've got good ownership. You've got a great fan base. You've got a great set of supporters. Coventry know what they're doing. I recognise the direction they're trying to go in. I recognise what they're trying to do on the pitch. And I recognise that this club has got Premier League ambition. And you can see that. It's written all over the city of Coventry. You can recognise their style of play. If you can beat teams like Leeds in the Championship, it clearly shows that Mark Robins is sending Coventry into one direction only. That is going up that Championship table even further. If they get the playoffs and they get to that player final again, I am rooting for them to come up because a team like Coventry would make a major difference to the Premier League for next season and for many years to come. And I would expect them to do all right. I would expect Coventry to have a very good season back in the Premier League. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's 8 games less, and you're going to have to pick up points at home as well as away from home as well. But they're going to give Man United a game. I don't think they're going to fear us. I don't think Coventry will be like, oh, do you know what? We're not going to fear this lot. You look at their last 4 games. They've been absolutely opened apart. They've been dismantled defensively. The injury crisis, they continue to use that every game as an excuse to get away with their shit amateurish performances. And basically what they're then trying to do then is that the players they've got, we all know as a Man United set of fans and supporters that are nowhere near good enough. These players have basically thrown the towel in. They don't want to play anymore. They don't want to put the effort in. They don't want to try. They are basically surrendering this season because they know that they're going to put all the blame on the manager. And, you know, Erik ten Hag has got to take major responsibility for this season's failure. It's been an absolute car crash. I, as a fan, after what I seen last season, did not expect the downfall of Man United to turn into this shit again. Season 2 should have been progressing from season 1. We have fallen off a cliff. We have fallen off the edge of a tightrope. We have fallen massively off again. And that, for me, isn't acceptable. That, again, if you don't win the FA Cup and you can't beat teams like Coventry, you're going to might have to sack the manager. And I think, you know what? That is probably what they're going to do. If this goes wrong on Sunday, and most Man United fans are expecting a difficult game because Coventry have got players that will cause that Manchester United team a hell load of problems. If Coventry come out and they start with their controlled possession and their control game and they get the control of the midfield and their attack is causing our back four major issues and their attack again is running up against a very vulnerable back four as well with Harry Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, Diego Dalot, and basically I don't even know who we've got available in defence at the moment because we've got that many injuries. I think again Kubwala is probably going to feature because we don't have anyone back from injury. We have had no one back for weeks. So again, like I said against Bournemouth, that team is going to have to prepare to go again on Saturday. And if Erik Ten Hag has got any credentials about him staying on as Manchester United manager, he is going to have to start making some fucking tough calls and making some big, big changes to get his job kept. I think Ten Hag knows. I think deep down, you look at the body language, you look at the way his facial expression shows in different stages of the game. He looks frustrated. He looks burnt out. He looks tired. He looks frustrated. You can tell Erik Ten Hag is not happy with the way things are at Man United. I do believe in his defence, he has been massively thrown under the bus, not just by the owners, but by the set of bunch of spoiled brat players of a squad that he's got to manage. A bunch of spoiled little babies who seem to get their own way all the time. And I'm absolutely sick of it. I am sick to death of these players throwing everyone except themselves under the bus. None of these players have taken any responsibility for their last few results. None of them. It's always been in the firing line of the manager. And obviously the manager has got to get these players playing. The football has got to be attractive. It's got to be world class. It's got to be free-flowing attacking football. We have not seen that from the last 4 set of games that Man United featured in the Premier League. And Dara Singh said, unfortunately, Man United will win and then you'll lose to Man City in the final. Man United should be winning this game easily and comfortably. I completely disagree that this game is obviously going to be all straight walk in the park. I think Coventry are going to give us a game because that vulnerability is there. Man United know the fear factor ain't coming back anytime soon. The fear factor's gone. This Man United fans and Man United supporters need to realise this fear factor we once had ain't coming back. And it ain't going to come back anytime soon until major drastic change is happening at this football club. We're so far with no evidence, things aren't changing. Things aren't looking very good and things aren't looking positive in the summer anyway. So we're basically not just screwing over the rest of the season, we are screwing over next season as well. I look at the threat of those Coventry players. You've got to look at the players like Haji Wright, great quality, world-class, young, talented striker that has got the world at his feet. Ellis Sims, who didn't get a wink of an eye of a start in 11th place at Everton Football Club. Again, Everton are fighting Premier League relegation and they let a quality player like Ellis Sims go to Coventry, who is banging goals in for fun. That was left by Gorkrez when he left for Sporting Lisbon. And you look at the goals he's now scoring, it's absolutely second to none. Then you also look at their players like Casey Palmer, obviously a veteran of the game, still offers that experience and quality when the going gets tough in the Championship. Callum O'Hare, a versatile midfielder that gives his all for a Coventry shirt. Ben Sheaf, another one who just absolutely gets what Coventry City are all about. And then you've still got players like Matt Kitchen, great centre-back player for Coventry, offers versatile defensive, offers leadership and offers a quality in the role of the back four. You've also got Matt Godden, a great, great striker. When you play him and Ellis Sims up front or Haji Wright, you get goals guaranteed in that Coventry attacking front three. And this is why Coventry are in the space they are in today. And yes, they did lose their last Championship game to 3-0 against relegation-threatened Birmingham City. Obviously, you shouldn't be really losing to clubs like Birmingham City who are fighting, Championship relegation again under, Gary Rowett, who was once a Birmingham City manager. Obviously, Tony Maybury stepped down to obviously have medical treatment. But again, as the Coventry players I've mentioned there, they are still world-class, talented young players, and they've got a younger squad. That is what you call a squad that is united. That is what you call a squad that is connected with each other. And I recognise the direction Coventry are going in, and I think that's only going to give Man United a whole load of problems. If you've got Ellis Sims and you've got Haji Wright and you've got Matt Godden, is the attacking front three for Coventry City. I believe that Man United could crumble down to their versatility, their defensive, their attacking quality with their superior body strength to Maguire and Kabwala, as well as the defensive woes of Delo and obviously Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who are both playing at, left back and right back. I remember, they haven't got Sakamoto either, but again, Coventry are still going to give Man United problems, and Man United could crumble here. Lose this game on Sunday, which it could happen. I'm not saying Man United are going to storm to this victory. I'm not going to say that Man United have got this game won already. I believe this could go all the way. Extra time penalties. I am not ruling this out because I've looked at results, I've looked at performances, and the players, to me, again, have thrown this season away. They don't care. And, no one wants to play Man City in that FA Cup final. No one wants to play them. And I think as a Manchester United fans and as Manchester United supporters, we all know we are rooting for Chelsea to beat them on Saturday. We're all going to have to hope. We're all going to have to pray. But even though if Man United lose and Coventry get through, you're still going to have a tough game. But I think United will go into this game as favourites. But I'm not calling it as a lot. I'm calling us favourites only just because the way we are playing, the players do not look like they're a United team. You've got players arguing with each other on the pitch and with certain individuals in that team. And you've got certain players that really, really step up when the going gets tough. But when they've got absolutely bang average other players around them that play in that United team, how are you expecting this Man United team to get clicking? How are you expecting Manchester United to move forward as a club when everything is so disconnected? And at the end of the day, this again is down to Erik ten Hag, who is continuing with his favouritism of certain individuals, who is continuing to not make any big calls or big changes to the starting 11, and is continuing to play the same bang average, park the bus football and make the opposition on the counter-attack. I can't tell you how boring that is actually starting to get. If you can't beat Bournemouth and you can't beat Brentford, I've got big concerns if we play the way we did against either of those two, where we basically parked the bus for the whole 90 fucking minutes and tried to break Bournemouth and Brentford on the counter-attack to see if we could opportunity for a goal to happen. That ain't going to work against Coventry. They play a high line. They've got great younger midfielder than what Man United have currently got in their first team. Casey Palmer may be suspended, but Coventry have still got players that can do damage. We can't afford extra time. We have another game on Monday. We've got Hull. I don't think that game's going to be played on Monday because the game is actually being played on the Sunday, the FA Cup semi-final. And unfortunately, I don't think we can afford extra time. You've got another game against Hull on Tuesday or Wednesday night. But again, I think, Mark Robins is going to look at United and he thinks to himself, as an ex-Manchester United player himself, I think he deep down knows the problems and the issues that Man United have got on and off the pitch. I think he knows he's going to look at their last few performances and he's going to deep down know where the problems are. It's written all over the team. It's written all over that squad. It's written all over those players. When you go on social media, where these players should not be allowed to have access to social media on any fucking app, it clearly shows that mentality of this squad is broken. These players aren't playing as a team. It's completely individual FC, individual ability. Let me do my job. You concentrate on your own. You concentrate on their job. I'll do my job. But at the end of the day, when you've got that much of individual ability who can't play as a team, it shows that Man United are a club in crisis, and we are in crisis. Lose this game, it's one trophy in fucking 7 years. And people think that is acceptable. People think, well, do you know what? It's not as bad as all that. At least we won a trophy last season. We've crumbled away. We've let our rivals run away from us yet again. And Man United has sat back and just carried on the same pattern. Sack the manager every 2 years. Don't back the manager. Don't get him any quality players. Keep the same bang average squad together that you had last season and expect to go again. That is not how it's going to work. Those players are dead on their feet. They ain't coming back from this. Those players are lost. Those players are more lost than that bloody TV series on Sky. It is so embarrassing that we are basically scraping around, not just our academy, but our under-18s to try and fill a bench because our players cannot keep themselves fit for more than 5 minutes. And Man United have carried on with this issue that we've got problems. We've got an injury crisis. We didn't get backed in the summer. We didn't get backed in January. And yes, those 2 points are correct, but they have carried on to use, we've got injuries. And that is all I hear out of this manager's mouth. I don't see any tactics. I don't see any style of play. I see a bunch of individual spoiled little 5-year-old babies who whinge, moan, and complain more than a child moaning and screaming at preschool. It is fucking embarrassing that these players think at the end of the day that they think they're good enough. And how many centre backs do Man United have available? Well, again, the team that played against Bournemouth on Saturday is going to go again on Sunday because we've got no Martinez, got no Varane, we've got no Lindelof, we've got no Johnny Evans. All we've got is Kabwala and Harry Maguire. That's all the players we've got available is that back four. We've got no Shaw, got no Malacia. Again, the back four is going to be, unfortunately, Delo, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, and Kabwala. Again, the same back four that has leaked 9 goals in the last 4 games, 3 points from 12, is going to be trusted to get Manchester United into an FA Cup final. Even if we get to that final and we beat Man City, we all need to realise we ain't winning that final. I want to say we can win the FA Cup. And I've said all season that Manchester United will win the FA Cup. I have said it all season and I'm going to continue to say it now. I believe that we will win the FA Cup, but we are going to have to face fact. If it's Man City, good luck. If it's Chelsea, good luck. Because Man United leak goals more than a sieve with major holes in, and the liquid and the ingredients aren't staying in the sieve. And the sieve is just leaking like a bucket. It's too many holes, and the sieve's basically worn out and broken, and you can't afford to go and get one from Home Bargains, Dunelm, or anywhere, or even Argos to an extent, to go and replace the broken sieve. And the problem is there's too many holes in this team. Ten Hag won't make big changes. He won't make big calls. And again, I don't understand why he's not doing it. If this manager has got any balls, change this fucking team up and fucking make some drastic changes to get this team playing better football. You're having arguments with Anthony. You're having disagreements with Garnacho. You're having disagreements with Delo. I know some of these players aren't good enough, but don't start losing the dressing room and losing these players where we could still win a trophy, 2 trophies in a row under this manager. That might still keep him in a job. But you've got to look at the results, and you've got to look at the standards, and you've got to look at the tactical vision, and you've got to look at the style of play. Do we recognise Man United this season from last season? Clearly we don't. We are miles off where we were last season. We've basically said, you know what? We're too tired. We're burnt out. We're too tired. We're burnt out. That is all I get. And I'm sick of it. If these players don't want to be here, fuck off. Because at the end of the day, we are still going to be here with or without you. I mean, you might as well get the U2 song on, because it is so boring that these players have to go on social media and blame everyone else except themselves. Those players were shambles against Bournemouth. They were absolutely pathetic. There was no standout. You've got a captain and a leader that basically fucking carried you for the whole game on Saturday evening and got you the 2 goals just to rescue an embarrassing point that everyone all of a sudden decided to celebrate, meaning it meant something. That point was shit. Yeah, and the team we've mentioned will probably start in the live chat. That team will probably be the team that Erik ten Hag is going to go with. I completely agree. I can't see major changes being made. He ain't going to drop Rashford. He ain't going to drop Casemiro. He ain't going to drop Garnacho. He ain't going to drop Maguire. He won't drop Wan-Bissaka. He won't drop Delo. He won't drop anyone because there's too much, oh, please love me. Please kiss my ass for me. I've got to keep playing football. I cannot not be selected. Ten Hag needs to get half these bottle job players who don't give a fuck out this football club, because this is why we have ruined our season. If drastic changes are being made, half this squad would not be Man United players still. They've been given more than one opportunity to prove themselves, and it's clearly to show, not just by the Premier League season, but by our Champions League season, the defence of the Carabao Cup. We are relying on the FA Cup. If someone would have said to me at the start of the season, would you take finishing 7th or 8th and winning the FA Cup as a good season? No, I fucking wouldn't. I'd have expected these players to actually show some balls, show some cojones, and actually turn up. They aren't turning up because they've turned on the manager. He's clearly lost the dressing room, and Erik ten Hag don't know what to do. He doesn't know who to turn to because he clearly knows those players are fighting not for him but against him. Those players are massively against Erik ten Hag now. They don't give a shit if he's going to be here next season or not. And the problem is, if these players are in next season, then just expect more of these same types of results that we've seen in our last 4 games to carry on next season and seasons more after that, because the standards of this squad are shit. They clearly aren't at the level. Like the team I would go with, Onana, it's going to be Dalot, it's going to be Maguire, Kabwala and Wan-Bissaka. I would be dropping Casemiro. I would be dropping Fernandes. I would be dropping Rashford. I would be dropping Garnacho. I would be getting that front three as Ahmad, Anthony and Højlund, Mainu, Mount and Amrabat. I would drop these same inconsistent prats that think they deserve to be playing for Man United. I'm sick to death of all of them. I expect a lot better from these players. They're clearly not showing it. They don't want to turn up. They don't want to win anything. They don't want to be a successful club where, if you look at Man City, you look at Liverpool, you look at Tottenham, you look at Villa, Newcastle, Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester City. If you look at the standards of their clubs compared to our club, we are a fucking embarrassment. We are getting laughed at as it is now. Imagine if we go out Sunday. Could you imagine the L and the embarrassment we are going to have to go through on Sunday evening? I've got massive respect for rival fans. I've got respect for you. I'm friends with rival fans, but I respect them because at the end of the day, life is too short not to have friends. I respect everybody in my life. I welcome rival fans on this channel. It doesn't matter who you support. But the banter Manchester United are going to get if they lose to a lower league team where we've basically had kind FA Cup draw after kind FA Cup draw. The only bump in the road was when we got Liverpool in that quarter final where we shouldn't have won that game really. So it was a completely invalid result. I want Ten Hag to say to this squad, you know what? This is your last chance. This could be my last chance here. Go out and give the fans something. Go and give out that supporters something. Go and deliver us a trophy. But I think the damage is already done. I think the heart surgery, which we clearly do fucking need, in the words of Ralph Ragnick, open-hearted surgery is needed. Win the FA Cup or not, I think Ten Hag's gone. I want him gone. I'm completely Erik Ten Hag out because I don't recognise his Man United team. I don't recognise the standards anymore. I don't recognise these players. I don't see last season to now. I'm relying on an FA Cup to basically say, oh, at least we're in Europe. I mean, can you just put that into your head? We are relying on the FA Cup. If we win that, we're in the Europa League. I mean, that is the standard of Manchester United now. They don't care. If these players cared, we'd be in the Champions League spots. We would be winning the league. We'd still be in the Champions League. But no, we're not. Because the standards are so low. It is basically scrape top 4 and try and win a cup competition. That is the standards. And the manager is basically having to go with a squad that he wanted major improvement. He deserved major investment, and he didn't get given it in the summer, if we're being really honest, and he didn't give it in January. But the excuses since then is he's sounding like Solskjaer. We're relying on moments. We're relying on moments. And he's even walking out his press conferences when he gets asked certain questions. I think, for me, that is highly embarrassing. I think that is quite rude. If you are walking out your own press conferences because you are refusing to answer a question, then I'm afraid that this manager is a tip of the iceberg. From top to bottom of this football club, if we win this game Sunday, which I hope we do, but I'm not expecting if we don't win, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't. I don't think the players realise if they win the FA Cup, you've won again and you're in Europe, but it ain't going to save the manager. I think Erik Ten Hag, this is his last game. This is a dead man walking situation at the moment for me. If Ten Hag goes, they better have a decent replacement. As I've already stated to my friends, I've already stated to my family, if we bring in Southgate or Graham Potter, I am done with Man United Football Club, full stop. I am no longer supporting the club because I can't stand going through this year after year, season after season. It's the same old shit. And for my own mental health and for my own anxiety, as well as my depression, I am not getting put through the mill from these players every fucking time when the going gets worse. I'm not being patient. I'm not going to sit here and say, do you know what? Fine, I'll wait for the 3 or 4 years. I want this instant success right now. We can't afford to be sat here waiting around trying to scrape results against Coventry City. I have got a lot of respect for Coventry City. They're an historic football club. They've won trophies. They've been league successes, and they narrowly missed out on Premier League promotion. But they're going again because Mark Robins has got those standards up here Every game, every match, every performance, every ball they fight for, every tackle, every pass, every cross, everything. You see recognition of the job that Mark Robins is doing at Coventry. If Coventry play the way they did, and you know what? They did have a bump in the road. They lost 3-0 to Birmingham. That wasn't a good result. It was unacceptable. But Coventry have still got games there where they can sneak into the playoffs and then go again and try and get back in the Premier League. Well, I do think Coventry need to be back. Coventry would be a massive, massive recognition that this Premier League is finally getting back on its feet, where the Premier League again can become the best team in the world, because Coventry are playing some fucking good football. Yes, that last weekend's result in the EFL Championship was bad, but they've still got players that I still think will get the better of Man United. I don't trust our back four. I don't trust our goalkeeper. Every component in our team is weak. And everyone thinks that's a really, really great squad. It's really not. You don't see investment there. You don't see support of the manager. But Erik ten Hag has been trusted to bring certain players in that clearly have not worked. Anthony hasn't worked. Amrabat hasn't worked. Martinez hasn't worked. Onana, Reguilon, Rasmus Højlund. I mean, he has been given money, but he's not been given any more money than that, than what he's been given to be able to get this squad fighting on all fronts. I think Ten Hag walked into season 2 and said, you know what? I've not been told I'm getting a lot of money. What the hell am I meant to do? And on that side, I've got sympathy. But the players Man United have still got at disposal of them should still be able to perform for you. These players do not want to perform. They don't care. And if they don't care on Sunday, I will fucking flip my lid and say sack the lot of them. I would sell all this squad and start again. That is what I would do. I would sell every single player in that team and start the build again. Because these players are not fighters. They are 5-year-old spoiled little babies who want their ass kissed for them, for their ego to be built bigger. And apparently you can't say that they don't care. They don't give a shit. But they don't. I mean, are you going to praise them for shit performances and let them get away with it? Is that the standards we're living in as football fans? Are we expecting to allow certain bang average players at certain football clubs to be able to still be given a chance by the manager and a successful future at the club? I'm sorry, a rebuild is needed. I don't want to see Casemiro in this team again. I don't want to see Fernandes. I don't want to see Rashford. I don't want to see this back four. I don't want to see Onana. I don't really want to see Garnacho, and I don't really want to see Anthony, because I don't think it works. These players have clearly shown. How many games has Rashford come back from injury? How many games has he gone without a goal? Liverpool, Brentford, Chelsea, Bournemouth. That's nearly 5 fucking games that Rasmus Højlund has not played. He has played, but hasn't scored any goals. So again, a bad signing in my book. Amrabat has only played 3 or 4 games for Man United all the season, was apparently meant to be this world-class midfield addition to the midfields we've already got, to reassure that this midfield was getting better. Well, that didn't work, did it? Anthony, an 85 million flop that apparently wasn't injured, but apparently was injured when we got it from Samuel Lutker's Man United's kiss-ass reporter on Twitter. Basically said Anthony was actually injured, but apparently there was rumours that Anthony had a bust at Ten Hag. Again, down to Man United's behind-the-scenes crap yet again. You've got Garnacho liking certain tweets by a certain individual on YouTube who basically agreed with the comments that, you know, Garnacho has become the scapegoat. He's been blamed for the first Bournemouth goal, and that's why Man United didn't win the game. It's the whole lot of them. If you want to scapegoat these players, don't just scapegoat one of them. It's got to be the whole fucking lot. If they're not performing, call out of this if they want. Do they want to win a trophy? Is my recognition. Do they want this manager here? Do they want to be a permanent, successful football club again? Or are we basically going to just turn to Arsenal under Arsene Wenger, where we scrape top 4, we make a lucky cup final, we might not win it, we might lose it, it doesn't really matter. Are we really going to turn into that football club? Do these players really want to give it all? Because if you're going to see players that are going to give it all, you've got 3 or 4 individuals you build a team around. Kobe Mainoo, Amad Diallo, Rasmus Højlund and Garnacho. The rest of them, get rid. You build a team around these 4, and I think these 4 will give their all. I think Amad hopefully will be given his chance. Anthony, I don't want no more game time for him. I don't want Rashford to be given any more game time because he's clearly fucking lazying up his own ass. Rasmus Højlund clearly hasn't worked. 5 games without a goal. That striker signing turned out well, didn't it? Mainu, who is basically our only midfield hope, is not just doing Casemiro's role, he's doing his own role as well as Fernandes, because Fernandes, all you get is whinging. You might as well give that guy a nappy and get him a dummy to put in his mouth to stop his fucking moaning every 2 minutes. A captain has got no standards, no leadership, no balls, no cojones, and doesn't give his all in United shirt. Yes, he is carrying the goals at the moment because the rest of the team is basically dog shite. And then you've got a back four that contains a fridge, an overrated 18-year-old centre-back that we basically bought from fucking Chesterfield, who weren't even in the fucking Premier League, were a non-league fucking National League club, and we thought this guy could really do well for us, and he was only through our academy ranks that he built himself up. And then you've got Delo and you've got Wan-Bissaka, either both shit at left-back or both shit at right-back, and you've got a goalkeeper that comes out more out of goal than watching the bowling ball go down the alley of the bowling alley, and you go down the lane and the ball rolls. It doesn't roll down that lane. It goes into the gutter. It hits the gutter net vents, and you don't get any pins down. And that is Onana conceding every fucking goal from every fucking angle. And that was £60 million worth of money that Man United could have spent better on another goalkeeper that could keep clean sheets, what could stop leaking goals for fun. And we haven't solved it. David De Gea should have never been let go. He should have been our goalkeeper still. They handled that situation horrifically wrong. And I feel sorry for David De Gea. I wish he was still here at the club. But yes, he was making mistakes, and it was coming down to last season that we had to make a final decision on his career. But I think we need to bring him back. Bring him back as a backup goalkeeper and bring a goalkeeper in that could actually make saves that Onana can't. Onana has conceded over 575 shots this season. And I think people need to realise it's not just down to him. It's down to the whole set of players around him. And if Ten Hag goes with the same team on Saturday, what we saw last weekend for Sunday's FA Cup semi-final against Coventry at Wembley, then I'm afraid to say you're going to see so much of the same type of performance you saw against Bournemouth. Bang average, slow, lethargic, no effort to try, no passion, no heart, no desire, and no will to actually play for the shirt, to play for the badge, to play for the fans, and play for the supporters. That whole club is a fucking joke. And at the moment, I am getting sick that we are having to keep talking about the fucking incompetence of this fucking football club. This is why we are in the mess that we are in. We're shit, we're a joke, we're a laughingstock, we're a circus. If we don't beat Coventry, Ten Hag will be gone. I can confirm that to you now. As a source close to someone to Manchester United, I've already been told. If we lose Sunday, Ten Hag's going. And the plan is bring in Southgate. Well, if they do that, au revoir Man United, because I ain't sticking around for that. I'm not even joking. I'm not even lying to you. If this goes horrifically wrong and they do bring in Southgate, then forget that. Because there are managers out there you can get. Nagelsmann, Zidane, De Zerbi, Ruben Almiron from Sporting Lisbon. They're all managers that United could get to replace Ten Hag. I still got a funny feeling that if we scrape the FA Cup and we win it, it's going to be by luck, not by performance, not by players, but a team that are desperate to keep hold of their success. Because if they don't get into Europe, just imagine what the summer transfer window is going to be like this year. Imagine what it's going to be like. We'll see the same chaos, the same shit that we saw in January and last summer. Sell to buy, financial fair play. Sell to buy, financial fair play. We ain't going to be in the Champions League. We'll be lucky if we even make the Europa League. If we end up in the Europa Conference League, kiss next season goodbye. Because winning the FA Cup means a lot. There's tradition, there's history. I want to see this club being able to win trophies season after season. If Ten Hag does win the FA Cup, it might keep him in the job for one more season. But I think that Ineos has already made their decision. I think the club's already made their mind up. I think there's a new manager waiting in the wings. Ten Hag is clearly on an interim role basis just to keep his job intact. That is how I see it. If it doesn't happen and we do go out, then we deserve to lose, I'm afraid. We do deserve to lose. But at the end of the day, we might win the FA Cup like I've said all the season long that we will. I've said from start of the season, United will win the FA Cup. I've had that gut feeling all season that we might just do it. But I think the players already know that the fight's not there. These players will not try and win a tackle. They won't try and win a low. They won't put in a low block. They won't. They'll park the bus and try and counter attack. That ain't going to work against Coventry because they've got a younger defence. They've got a younger midfield trio, and they've got a younger attacking three. All I see at Man United is aging versatility, and aging versatility. This whole team has been a joke for the last 4 games where we have shipped 9 goals, 3 points from 12, and everyone celebrates a point against Liverpool, Brentford, and Bournemouth. I mean, if you're celebrating a point against those 3 BTECs, then I'm afraid to say you ain't Man United fans. You ain't Man United supporters. Like, if you're supporting Man United and you're celebrating points against these 3, just a point, by the way, 3 points from 12. If you're celebrating that, you are part of the problem. You are part of the problems of the standards at this club that you're just going to allow players just to get away with it. And they can't keep hiding. They need to start expressing themselves. I don't know where that expression has gone from last season. We look as dry as Thrush. Honestly, we look dry as Thrush. And I'm not trying to be nasty, but we look so dried up. We look so dry. It's like when you don't put any fucking deodorant or roll-on and your armpits are absolutely dry as hell and you're sweating like a pig and it absolutely stinks, not just you out, but it stinks the whole fucking room out. And you want to go for a shower, but you've then got no hot water and all you've got is cold, and then you've got no deodorant on you and you've got no roll-on to use because they've all run out and you've not got any money to go and buy one. We have dried up massively. We have absolutely sunk. It was like that summer we had last year, that extreme weather over here in the UK, where it was up above 30, 35, 34. And it was absolutely drying out everyone's garden. We looked more drier than a piece of grass. That is how dry we've got. We just don't seem to be able to loosen ourselves up. We don't seem to be able to want to express ourselves. Maybe the manager is holding back, but Erik ten Hag is basically fighting for his job. I think he might keep his job if we win the FA Cup, but don't hold your breath, because look what happened with Van Gaal. We sacked him after he won the FA Cup, and we already knew. The players knew, the coaches knew, the club knew, the staff knew. Everybody knew Van Gaal was going to go. And it had to come because we were playing shit football. But I recognise the style of play that we had. I recognise the defensive work. I recognise the attacking play we actually played under all our previous managers. At least we had a style of play. At least we had some recognition of what we were trying to do on the pitch. At Man United, this team is completely unbalanced, completely disconnected from one another. They're not fighting for the manager. They've given in on him. They've thrown him under the bus. They're having rows on social media, thinking they're God's gift, saying, please give me some more because I've got such a big ego. You've got a club in turmoil on and off the pitch. Nothing's changed. And you've got an uncertain future. And like I said, I don't think Ten Hag will keep his job. I think if we do manage to win the FA Cup, I still don't think he's going to be here next season. I think Ten Hag's already gone. But again, I could be completely wrong. But I've just got a gut feeling if this goes wrong Sunday and we go out and we don't win a trophy, it's 1 trophy in 7 years. No European football potentially next season for the first time in decades. And then we are going to be in real trouble in the summer transfer window when no player wants to come to an unstable club that is just so shit. And if any top players want to come play here, I would completely ignore us and go elsewhere, because you are coming to an unstable club. You're coming to an uncomfortable position on and off the pitch. You've got a manager's future is uncertain. You've got a set of players that don't give a fuck. And they're basically singing and having a song and dance about, oh, if we win the FA Cup, at least we'll be in Europe. I want to win the FA Cup, but again, that is the standards of Manchester United. I need to be fighting for everything, not just one trophy. You need to be fighting for all of them. You need to be fighting for the Prem, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, the Champions League, UEFA Super Cup, the Community Shield. You need to be fighting for everything you're going for. But there ain't no fight. And that's the problem here. There is no fight. There is no dedication. Everyone has given up. They have thrown the towel in. Every one single person at this football club should be a fucking ashamed of themselves, because I am embarrassed, not just for you, but your recognition, your popularity, and your charisma, because you have thrown this season away where it could have been such a successful one. But again, I can't control what Man United do on and off the pitch, but the fans and supporters are fed up. I'm fed up. And if you give it the job to Southgate in the summer, forget me being a Man United fan for any much longer, because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it because I'm tired. I'm sick to death of it. And it ain't going to convince me. And it ain't going to convince me to stay on if you give the job to someone like Southgate or Graham Potter. Fuck that, because that's a disgrace. But you never know. We might turn up Sunday and put in a worldy performance. It wouldn't surprise me. Sorry about the last 4 results, but we'll turn up against Coventry. We'll get to the FA Cup final, but we're down tools for that because we're not going to win it anyway. That is how I see it going. But again, I could be wrong. So all I'm saying is expect United win, but don't expect not to expect it going wrong, because we've seen from the last 4 games it went wrong. We threw leads away. We threw points away. We should have had 12 points out of 12. It's unacceptable. And let's hope this FA Cup's our saving grace. And I can't believe I'm using those words. So I hope you enjoyed this chat and the preview and obviously this talk through. Hit the like button and the share button. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Share the video. Hit the tweet button. Hit the retweet button. Remember to always remember the notification bell. Put the bell on all times so you receive dedicated brand new content planned for the rest of this year in 2024 on the channel for more Fortnite, Rocket League, EA, Formula One, previews, match reactions. We've got the summer transfer window covers right throughout this year in 2024 from the Europe, EFL, the Premier League. And obviously join me for the aftermath and after the full-time whistle on Sunday evening at Wembley. Let's hope we make another FA Cup final, but it wouldn't surprise me if we step up and all of a sudden produce a performance of a lifetime and everything will be fine again. But you could have performed in the last 4 games and not thrown away 12 points out of 12, but we only got 3 out of 12. So, yeah, see what happens. But it's Coventry City versus Man United, FA Cup semi-final, Sunday evening at Wembley. Come on, United. Come on, you Reds. Let's get to another FA Cup final and actually win a trophy. But this might be Erik Ten Hag's last game, and that is the gut feeling I've got. Let's see what happens. See you on the next one.